Are you self-confident, or do you compare yourself to others? What's up, guys? How you doing? It's Schleiger from the Wellness Point, your chiropractor. The problem, I don't even know if it's a problem. The thing that most people have a problem with social media is not the fact that it's evil and you need to cut it off because it's a bad thing. The problem is it exposes our insecurities. So what most people don't understand is that the people that have the hardest time with social media, Instagram, Facebook, is they scroll on that thing and they compare themselves to other people's best moments. So we as humans, this is me included, we put on this, it's kind of like a public mask where we want people to only see us in a certain light. So when you're on social media and you're looking at posts, what we don't understand is the person consuming the material is that you are literally seeing people at their best moment. You don't ever see people that record their fight with their spouse or their wife on there, and they're freaking out at their kids because they just had a bad day and they have a short fuse, and it's just one thing that it was just that one last thing that just kind of put them over the top. Maybe they slept bad last night and they just flip out. They don't record that thing and hashtag family fight because we put on a public mask. And when you compare yourself to your neighbor or compare yourself to what you're seeing them do or what you're seeing them accomplish or get done, you are literally comparing yourself to their best moment. So I know my own insecurities. I know my problems. When I fall asleep at night, I'm the one that I have to fall asleep next to myself. When I wake up next to myself. When I look myself in the mirror, I see all of my problems, my shortcomings, and my insecurities. I know who I am. And not a single person on this planet can we know exactly what that person is. We only see what they do and what they post. We don't. My best friend, I don't know exactly who they are, right? If they were to literally post on Facebook every thought that they had, I would have a different perception of who they are. But we don't post that stuff. So Facebook, social media, Instagram, it reveals our insecurities if we're not careful about how we use it. So how do you go from comparing yourself to other people and comparing yourself to your neighbor? Because you're not supposed to compare yourself to your neighbor. You're supposed to love your neighbor. And how do we build self-confidence? So self-confidence comes from this. It does not come from your accolades. It does not come from your accomplishments. It does not come from your championships. This is why athletes that become icons and the best at their sport, they finally reach a point in their life where they hit a plateau and their body, their physical body peaks. You're not a professional athlete when you get your AARP card. There's a time in your life where your body physically peaks, 34, 35 years old, and you just can't compete with people that are 28 in the physical realm. So they peak, and when they put their identity into the things that they do, and they lose that, they no longer know who they are. So this is the reason why athletes have such a hard time when they lose that sport, because they put their identity into their championships, into their scoring title, into their contracts. They being an entertainer, and then when that's taken from them, they no longer know who they are because they forgot how they became that person. So the reason that they became that person, and you talk to any sports athlete or anybody that's ever had any type of success, they just don't realize they're doing this because innately they just do it. So the way that they become that way, the way that they have self-confidence, is they make a promise to themselves and they keep it. So if you're struggling with self-confidence today and you think you'll be self-confident, you're a renter right now, and you'll get self-confidence when you buy your house, or you think self-confidence comes from having a successful business, and you have business X, and when your business makes it to 3X, then you'll have self-confidence, or when you go from 3X to 10X, then you'll have self-confidence. It just doesn't work that way, you know? So the self-confidence comes from making a promise to yourself and keeping that promise to yourself. It has nothing to do with anybody else. And it can start really, really small, you know, whether it's you want to have self-confidence in your faith or your spirituality, and you've never read the Bible before. Just open up the Bible every day and literally read just one verse. Just make a promise to yourself. I'm gonna read one verse every single day for the next month, and keep that promise to yourself. You don't need anybody else to hold you accountable. Just keep it to yourself. And when you do that, after 1 month, you'll say, man, I did it. And reading that one verse will turn into maybe reading a page in the Bible. And you may not even understand what you're reading. But just like King David, everybody says, well, what was the thing that King David, he wasn't a king at the time. What did David use to kill, Goliath? And everybody said he used his faith. It was a rock. It was a slingshot. No, that's not what he used. He used what he took the time to put in his backpack. So when you're doing these things, you may not really physically feel the end result of it, but you're slowly putting those things into your backpack that you can use later. It's called discipline, right? So in work, it might be like, for me, for about a year, I've been talking about doing these advanced workshops. So I just finally made a, commitment to myself. I said, I'm going to do them. I don't care how they turn out, if if people show up, it doesn't matter. I'm going to Facebook Live, and I'm just going to talk to the screen and just do it. And it doesn't matter. I'm just going to do it. And after this year, when we get through all of those advanced workshops, I'm going to tell myself, no matter how they turned out, I did it. I just made a commitment to myself, and I did it. If you're trying to lose weight, if you're trying to eat healthy, just make the commitment to yourself. The reason that people, they lose momentum and they don't have self-confidence, or maybe they go through the ups and downs of dieting, it's because they broke the commitment with themselves. It's not because the diet didn't work. It's not because the exercise program didn't work. It's because they just made a promise to themselves, and they only kept it for January. And when February hit and they had to pay the full price for the gym membership, they quit. That's how you lose self-confidence, is by breaking the promise within yourself. It has nothing to do with how fat or skinny you are. It has nothing to do with how fast you run the mile or how slow you walk it. It has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with breaking the promises to yourself. So stop comparing yourself to your neighbor. Stop comparing yourself to everybody else's public image, because nobody's really going to reveal to you their true self, okay? My wife, the people that know me the best, they don't get to see all the internal dialogue that I have with myself. I don't know the internal dialogue. Nobody does with yourself. The person that knows you the best is you. So you need to make those promises with yourself. And that's how you gain self-confidence. So I hope this helped you. It's Tuesday here, so I'm about to go in. So I'm in the parking lot right now. So I'm sorry for the long video, but I hope that helped you. So just make a promise to yourself. If you're trying to get better, just make that promise to yourself and keep it. That's all you have to do, is just keep the promises to yourself, and you'll start to create self-confidence. Thanks for listening, and God bless.